Hello, guitar people. By now you should have realized that we're here to look at the Ibanez GRX40 MGN. Mint green, whatever the N stands for. I think Dan from Ibanez told me, but I forgot. I never listened to the man. I'm always on the prowl for inexpensive guitars because it's important information how good are inexpensive guitars and to hear them in a decent setup. Now, of course, you're going to say, oh, no, you're going to pump them into all these high-end amps. Well, first of all, the track that you heard at the beginning, this guitar has been recorded with the Terra Stamp, very small pedalboard amp from Orange, which clocks in at $170. So, you've heard it there in a full track. But the reason why we're not pairing inexpensive gear, whether it's a pedal, an amp, or a guitar, with other inexpensive gear, all of a sudden, you don't know which part of the chain is the problem. If I pump this into an Engel Savage for $2,000, we know the Engel isn't the problem. We know the Rev or the Friedman isn't the problem. If it sounds bad, it's not going to be the amp. It's going to be the guitar. If you want to hear this in the super cheapest tube amp setup that I can possibly whip out, then please watch my video, Do We Need Expensive Gear? 430 euro setup versus 12,000 euro setup, where I'm putting this into a 1-watt amp, into a cab, and record it with my phone, and it works beautifully. Most people actually liked it more than the expensive setup, so watch that video. Now, what we have here is a guitar for 179 euro, which is almost too good to be true, because I understand how Harley Benton can get that price point. They go directly to the company in Indonesia or China or whatever manufacturer they work with, and then it goes directly to Thomann, which is the only place where you can buy them. And there's no middleman. Now here, there's two middlemen. There's Ibanez in Japan, who commissions this guitar to be built at a company somewhere in Asia. So Ibanez wants to make money. Then there's the distributor in Germany here that is Meinl. And so Ibanez and Meinl both want to make money. And then there's Thomann. And then there's tax. And you add all that up, we end up at €179. So I would say, and you would say, well, that guitar is cardboard and it's crap. The reason why it's here is because it's not. I don't know how that's possible. Manufacturing has greatly improved. When I started playing guitar, I had a white Ibanez with HSS. Pretty much exactly that. But it was not good. That was in 1990, which is, 4 years ago. So quality of guitars has greatly improved. So what do we want to know from an instrument in this price range? How are the sounds? So, usually, this price range, the sounds are planky, they are very scratchy, they are not pleasant. The pickup's fault. Tuning, not just tuning stability, but also how smooth does it tune, because usually this is a beginner instrument. Now, beginners don't know how to tune a guitar, and if you add the complication of the tuning mechanism being sucky or not being precise, it's just bad. So this needs to work. For an inexpensive guitar, this needs to work. And playability and action needs to work. Visuals, the kids like their guitars pretty, and they usually like them black, and I say, don't buy them in black. I love this color. It's kind of like a spark. Let's go to the favorite cam here. We have many cams. I mean, look at this color. It's nice. It has a tremolo, which I will not use, because I simply just... This is not a category for me that has to work, and it shouldn't. Leave it where it is. Don't even plug that in. Don't expect this to stay in tune. If you look at the trem block, which is this piece of metal here, the part of the tremolo, it is very thin, which is, of course, expected in this price range. I've seen guitars for $1,000 that have a thin trem block. We see kind of a nicely rounded off heel joint here, for screws, but in weird positions. Everything about it says Ibanez, but nicely rounded off. And then we have a little bit of a thicker part up here. I don't want to necessarily call it a volute. Well, here we go. But it is definitely a little bit thicker. The headstock is not angled. The tuners are not staggered, meaning they don't go down, but that's why we have these two string trees right there to hold the strings down, so they don't have a very, so they have a more pressure up here on the nut. And the nut looks like it's made beautifully. If I look at Harley Benton's, which I regularly do, the nut is usually the problem, because it just looks like it's been done by, a hamster or something. This is fine. We have plastic dot inlays. We have, let's go through more stats, which I'm just going to read. It is from the Geo series, and I've never looked at a Geo series because many of my students had them, and I never thought they were good, which is why I stopped recommending them. This is a different ballgame. Poplar body, maple neck, Jatoba fretboard, which is, it looks rosewoodish, but it's Jatoba. We have a GRX neck profile, whatever that means. It's a, I never know neck profiles. I would say it's a C, but I really don't know. It's a good neck profile. 25.5 inches or 1.5 adult flounders. 305 millimeter fretboard radius. If you're a beginner, you don't give a flying rat's ass about this. So why am I even telling you? 42 millimeters plastic saddle or nut. 22 frets. Infinity RS pickups. Volume tone. 5-way switch. Blah, 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 blah. Comes with 9s. Okay, so that's as far as stats go. So since this is a video that might be for beginners, I'm going to explain what the different pickup positions do. We're going right now into the similarly colored Sky King by Tone King through the AUX, which is this box up here, instead of using a mic. And that is a setup that together is going to clock in at way over $4,000. I get that, but we need to eliminate the weak point, and it's a clean sound so far. And we're going to go into more amps as well. So if this is in the, for me, front position, usually I think they count this as 1. I count this as 1. I don't know. That's the neck, meaning we're here on this pickup, which is a single coil, so it's going to hum more, but it's going to give you a wiry sound. If we're in the second position here, it's these two together, which is kind of a hollow sound. The middle position is only this, which very few people use, but you can. This is very likely one of these, and then these kind of together, maybe out of phase, some trickery, which again gives you kind of a hollow, beautiful sound for cleans. And then this is the humbucker in the back by itself, which is more midsy, a little bit less bass because it's also because of the position where it is, and for the low rock and roll. So here we go with some cleans from that Tone King. It's balanced. None of those bitey frequencies that you sometimes have on inexpensive guitars. We're going to go in the in-between position. Very useful sounds. In the middle. A third very useful sound. In between in the back. And the humbucker by itself. We're gonna later check how well it rolls off the volume. Let's look at the tone, which I never do. I don't know why I'm doing it now. It's fascinating how this guitar is only $179. Is it a mind-blowing instrument? No. It's very solid and will absolutely do the job for a beginner, for someone who wants to check into Ibanez, for someone who likes the color and it's got $200. So, for someone who's got... Sorry, Leslie. For someone who's got... Leslie is the beautiful woman sitting up there switching all these angles for you, just in case you didn't know this. For someone who's got a humbucker guitar, if you have like a Les Paul or something, and you don't know if you need single coils, this is a good test instrument. So we're gonna go into a couple different amps. We already looked at the clean on the Tone King, so that brings us into the Voxy kind of overdrive of the Morgan AC20. it's balanced. We're moving on to one of the staples of rock and roll, which is the Marshall JCM 800. Apparently we're not. Here, now we are. Wow. But you hear more bass. It's a single coil. It's every guitar is that. Let's go into the Engel, and why not? The Engel Savage 120. Where's the buzz? It has a noise gate. And so on. What else do I have on? Let's go into the Rev Generator 100. Well, that works. Last and least, no. We're going into the Ecstasy module right there on the Synergy Syn 50. We're going to do that with some delay and reverb, and it's an absolutely beautiful lead sound, I hope. So, what do I think? Ibanez GRX40 MGN. You know my channel is built on Harley Benton. You know I've done a billion Harley Benton things, and you know I love them. If you look around the room, which you can't, there's many of them. Realistically, if I break my ties in my head right now with Harley Benton and the love I have for them, and the fact that I have a signature guitar with them, I would have to recommend this over €179 Harley Benton. In that price range, looking at the HSS guitars they have, I don't know if they have any. I don't think they do. Their Strat is 119, and it's okay. The ST62. This is a more solid guitar. Tuning is killer. The sounds are in no way those beginner, kind of like brittle, bitey, unbalanced sounds. They're all there. Now, is Ibanez a more high-quality brand than Harley Benton? I wouldn't call it that, especially in this price range. But what you do get, and some people have to think about that, especially buying an inexpensive beginner instrument, is resale value. If it says Ibanez on it, you're gonna resell it at a higher price than probably a Harley Benton, if that's what you're concerned about. But given the below €200 price range, we're looking at Yamaha Pacificas, which I think are very solid. The 112, the Pacifica 112 is a very solid guitar. However, it doesn't have those tones. It has some of those unbalanced kind of sounds where some, like the high E string on some settings goes like, oh, it sounds very unpleasant. I don't have any of those concerns with this guitar. Everything is balanced. It plays beautifully, comes in different colors. It looks cool, and it's under $200. I literally have to say, and first I say I'm getting paid for this video, but independent of that, I have to say I would have to give this as a beginner guitar a 10 out of 10. Full marks from me. Visually, playability. I've played it for quite a while now. Tunes well for its price range, and the sounds are there. So go grab one if this appeals to you. I find nothing wrong with it. Wait, the side dots are not centered. Ooh, let's look at that. Look at that. They're not centered on the Jatoba fretboard. Okay, don't buy it. It's horrible. Don't buy this guitar. The side dots are not centered. And we all know the most important thing on a guitar are centered side dots. Ibanez, how could you this crap? I really wish I could throw this. It would be so funny. But no. Obviously, this doesn't matter. I put links below. I want to thank Leslie for sacrificing a Saturday. And all the animals that will be at the end.